Are you a travel consultant looking to provide the best fares for your clients? Understanding fare construction is key to ensuring fair and accurate pricing. In this video, we will guide you through the steps involved in constructing fares for both one-way and round-circle trips. Let's get started. For a one-way journey, here are the steps you need to follow. Step 1. Fare Construction Points, FCP. Identify the fare construction points of the fare component. These points refer to the portions of an itinerary between two consecutive fare construction points. In the case of a direct flight, the points of origin and destination are the fare construction points. Step 2. Neutral Unit of Construction, NUC. Quote the neutral unit of construction, NUC, based on the global indicator, fare type, and carrier code. The neutral unit of construction is a common unit used globally to build fares between two cities, providing uniformity in fare construction. Step 3. Rule. Identify the rule number and check for specified routing conditions. Step 4. Maximum Permitted Mileage, MPM. The maximum permitted mileage between the origin and destination of the fare component. Maximum permitted mileage between represents the maximum distance that may be traveled for a fare component. Step 5. Ticketed Point Mileage, TPM. Compute the ticketed point mileages and compare the sum with maximum permitted mileage, MPM. Ticketed point mileage refers to the actual number of miles used for constructing an itinerary between two points. Step 6. Extra Mileage Allowance, EMA. If ticketed point mileage, TPM, exceeds maximum permitted mileage, MPM, check for an extra mileage allowance or ticketed point mileage, TPM, deductions. Extra mileage allowance is a grace allowance in mileage permitted when traveling via certain cities or points. Step 7. Excess Mileage Surcharge, EMS. If extra mileage allowance, EMA, is insufficient, determine the excess mileage surcharge. Excess mileage surcharge is calculated when ticketed point mileages exceeds maximum permitted mileage, and it is added to the fare based on a specific calculation. Step 8. Higher Intermediate Point Fares, HIP. Look for a higher intermediate point fare from the origin to intermediate stopover points. The higher intermediate point, HIP, check ensures that the fare in neutral unit of construction, NUC, from origin to destination is not lower than the fare from or to any intermediate ticketed point in the same component. Step 9. Rule. Follow the higher intermediate point fares, HIP, considering conditions on stopovers, transfers, and seasonal or week applications. Step 10. Airfare, AF, or constructed fare, CF. Determine the applicable fare in neutral unit of construction, NUC, which is the result of the above steps. This fare is known as the constructed fare. Step 11. Backhaul Check, BHC. Apply the backhaul formula from origin to the highest rated stopover point, if applicable. Backhaul refers to a fare from the origin to an intermediate stopover point that is higher than the fare from the origin to the destination. Step 12. Total. Summarize the results of all the above steps in neutral unit of construction, NUC. Step 13. IATA Rate of Exchange, IROE. Multiply the neutral unit of construction, NUC, total by the IATA rate of exchange based on the country of commencement of international travel. Drop any trailing zeros. IATA Rate of Exchange provides monthly updates of IATA currency rates of exchange used for fare and rate construction. Step 14. Local currency fare, LCF. Round the resulting local currency fare according to specific rounding instructions. Round or circle trip fare construction steps. Now, let's look at the steps for round or circle trip fare construction. Step 1. Fare construction points, FCP. Choose a fare break point, typically the point of turnaround, but other break points can be considered to find a lower fare or avoid certain conditions. Step 2. Neutral unit of construction, NUC. Quote the half-RT neutral unit of construction from the origin to the destination using the correct global indicator. Neutral unit of construction maintains uniformity in fare construction for mileage-based fares globally. Step 3. Maximum permitted mileage, MPM. Establish the maximum permitted mileage using the same global indicator as the neutral unit of construction, NUC. Check if any Eastern Hemisphere maximum permitted mileage deduction applies. Step 4. Ticketed point mileage, TPM. Calculate the ticketed point mileages and compare them to the maximum permitted mileage, MPM. Consider special ticketed point mileage provisions if applicable. Step 5. Extra mileage allowance, EMA. Check for an extra mileage allowance if ticketed point mileage, TPM, exceeds maximum permitted mileage, MPM. Extra mileage allowance allows for additional mileage when traveling via specific cities or points. Step 6. Excess mileage surcharge, EMS. If extra mileage allowance, EMA, is insufficient, determine the excess mileage surcharge when ticketed point mileage exceeds maximum permitted mileage. Step 7. Higher intermediate point fares, HIP. Look for higher intermediate point fares from the origin to intermediate stopover points, following the same principles as in one-way fare construction. Step 8. Rule. Follow the higher intermediate point fares, HIP, considering conditions on stopovers, transfers, and seasonal or week applications. Step 9. Airfare, AF, or constructed fare, CF. Determine the applicable half-RT through fare in neutral unit of construction, NUC, based on the previous steps. Step 10. Circle Trip Minimum Check, CTM, Round the World Minimum Check, RWM, Country of Payment Check, COP. Apply the relevant checks depending on the type of journey, round trip, circle trip, and the country of issuance. These checks ensure the fare meets the required minimum criteria. Step 11. Return Subjourney Check, RSC. Apply the check to ensure the fare for a series of normal consecutive, contiguous return subjourneys meets the applicable normal direct round-trip fare. Step 12. Total. Summarize the results of all the above steps in neutral unit of construction, NUC. Step 13. IATA Rate of Exchange, IROE. Multiply the neutral unit of construction, NUC, total by the IATA rate of exchange based on the country of commencement of international travel. Drop any trailing zeros. IATA rate of exchange provides monthly updates of IATA currency rates of exchange used for fare and rate construction. Step 14. Local currency fare, LCF. Round the resulting local currency fare according to specific rounding instructions. And there you have it. By understanding the fare construction steps for one-way and round circle trips, you can confidently provide your clients with accurate and fair pricing.